Agnes Martin, a legendary abstractionist of the post-war period, lived and worked in an unpermitted loft among an insular community redefining American art. She lived at 3-5 Coentes Slip, a small historic street near Manhattan's financial district and the New York harbor. Martin anticipated minimalism before it had a name. Her large-scale square paintings feature pencil grids defining areas of muted white, gray, and lightly tinted pastel color. For the artist and viewers alike, these works express timeless, meditative qualities. She called them inspirations that came to her as a gentle spirit. It wasn't until she was in her 50s that she would paint one of the earliest archetypes, the tree. She later commented, "When I first made a grid, I happened to be thinking of the innocence of trees." Nature often shaped her titles: Mountain, White Flower, Orchards of Lightning. Martin's own life story informs her distinct self-reliance. Born in rural Canada in Saskatchewan, both sets of grandparents were Scottish Presbyterian pioneers, fur traders, and farmers. Throughout her life, she struggled with bouts of schizophrenia, sometimes requiring hospitalization. The Slip Studios were formerly maritime supply lofts renting for $45 a month. There was no heat or showers, although there were fantastic river views and a vegetable garden on the roof. The area was largely dilapidated. At night and on weekends, it was completely deserted. The smell of the sea was strong. Just steps away were neighboring women artists forming a tight community with Lenore Tawney, Ann Wilson, and the often present Chrissa. Scholars have recognized the Slip community as a safe haven for gay artists. But Martin's sexuality, like much of her life, remains largely private. She had meaningful relationships with several women, including dealer Betty Parsons. Her relationship with Chrissa ended when Martin abruptly left Coentes Slip in the summer of 1967. Martin went off-grid and took a 7-year hiatus from painting. Landing in Taos, she embodied an austere ethos, building her adobe home by hand, and working daily until her death in 2004 at age 92. Her life and her grids trace the shifting boundary between nature and spirit,